Let me welcome Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General NIC. Thank you so much, Dr. Verma, for joining us. Ma'am, if you can unmute your mic, please. Kamal
Thank
was
you. Good
talking
morning.
about. Kamal was also talking about Aragya Setu app, and who, other than Dr. Neeta Verma, can talk about that and how NIC, being the backbone of government IT ecosystem, has been doing a lot of innovation and also in the healthcare sector. So over to you, Dr. Neeta Verma, ma'am, DGNIC, your take on this particular subject of the inaugural session, how technology is playing a vital role in improving the public health landscape, especially beyond pandemic, the way forward. We welcome Dr. Neeta Verma, DGNIC. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Souvik. Good morning, Minister Sir, my fellow panelists, and ladies and gentlemen connected online. It is indeed my pleasure to be talking to you on this APAC Health Tech Innovation Conclave. Access to affordable and quality healthcare is still a dream for many in India. And as we move from urban cities to smaller towns to villages, this challenge amplifies. Our constraints in terms of shortage of doctors, uh, availability of healthcare infrastructure in the rural parts, villages is huge. While it is being addressed by central government and as well as by state government initiatives, but it looks with the conventional means it is going to take a long time by the right time we reach there. So what are we really exploring? We're trying to explore that if technology can help us address these challenges, can technology help us leapfrog this journey, and what kind of innovations are needed in application of technology to really provide access to affordable and quality healthcare to every Indian. This is the theme of this 3-day conclave, and you have galaxy of speakers from medical as well as from technology domains, and I'm sure they're going to deliberate and will come up with very some very fruitful and meaningful and innovative suggestions out of this conclave. Let me try and touch base on some of those technologies which have either become mainstream or are going to become mainstream soon, and which will have benefit to masses or making them go to masses is possible in the next 5 to 10 years. As Souvik was saying, how technology has been used during COVID time, uh, all of us have in one way or other personally witnessed, whether it was Arogya Setu to contain the spread of virus through contact tracing, or RT-PCR app through which one could easily collate the results of all RT-PCR tests done all over India, and could using this data could analyze how is this infection spreading in different parts of country, how do you define containment zones, how you define local lock and unlock lockdown guidelines, then timely supply of mask ventilators to oxygen, management of COVID hospitals, bringing up more COVID hospitals, we've all seen. And we've also seen how in such a short time we could get vaccines. Some of us have already been vaccinated. So development of vaccine technology has played again a big role. And now vaccination through COVID and Arogya Setu app. Today, as you know, you can go to Arogya Setu app. If you are above 60 or above 45 with comorbidity, you can go to this app, book your appointment, and go and get your vaccination. And it has been often sees if you have already done your pre-registration, it is really a very very seamless experience. Within 5 to 10 minutes to 15 minutes, you're able to get your vaccination and come out of it. So this is all technology which is helping. Um, and now with this and otherwise also technology to my mind plays a big role as far as healthcare is concerned. Healthcare sector also has been a very forward looking and have been using technology. I remember the very first program NIC had done where we used to provide access to health research to professionals all over the country much before, I'm talking much before internet was available to us. So they have a very good track record of using technology in a big way. So one thing which I feel that technology which is already mainstream, we only need to push ourselves, whether it is technology people or healthcare people, is telehealth, teleconsultation, telemedicine. We have already seen it used. during COVID times when people were not able to go out. And it has particularly shown very promising results when it comes to follow-ups or following up the cases with people with critical chronic diseases. Uh, Particularly for continuum of care, it's very, very useful. But experience today is still far from what we would like it to be. And I'm sure with this announcement of auction of 5G spectrum and broadband reaching or fiber optic reaching 6 lakh villages in India very soon, we will have much better network access infrastructure and seamless experience from patients when they're interacting with doctors. And for doctors also, it'll be good because they could really interact with patients as if they're sitting in front of them. But to take it further, we also need to upgrade our health infrastructure at the hospitals and also at the last mile in the public health centers or all those places from where the patient will connect. And I think all those hospitals and now who really want to leverage this new coming mode of providing healthcare service or consultation should really start working on upgrading their health infrastructures at their hospitals or IT infrastructure to be able to really connect. Connected to that will be access. The one thing which you'll surely need when you're doing for a seamless and quick consultation is access to the health record of the patient. And that is where National Digital Health Blueprint, which is now being implemented by National Health Authority, is something is going to play a big role, because if you have access to records and quickly you can get, and not only access to records which patient has been generated in your hospital, but in any hospital across India. That's something we all have been really uh, dreaming for quite some time. And with this new framework, which is announced by National Digital Health Mission, this is going to be reality soon in India. At NIC, we have a software product called eHospital, which is end-to-end hospital management. And this was the first hospital management software which is already compliant to this National Digital Health Blueprint. That means if the patient who's been consulted to these places, hospitals where this software is working, their electronic health records can be shared with other in the prescribed form, of course with the consent of the patient. Every time consent of the patient will be taken care, so that all those concerns of privacy are taken care, and it will be accessed only one time. Every time patient has to give consent. So the framework has all parameters of privacy and security built in. Another thing which is also becoming mainstream, you must have seen many of us in our family are wearing these wearable devices, healthcare trackers and sensors is again becoming mainstream, though cost has to really come down to go to masses. What do the all devices do? They essentially empower the patients so that to know about their own condition, so that they can take care of themselves, and they can also have with the informed decision. You see, if you have blood pressure, if you have sugar or any kind of a chronic disease, you go and see doctor or physician once a month. So in that 15 minutes, what will that physician do? You have to take care of your eating habits, your medicine over the span of that month or the span of your whole lifetime. And therefore, if you can be informed regularly that what is your current sugar levels or what is your blood pressure or and many other things today, if you see a lot of other things could also be measured, you will be able to take, as people are becoming more conscious, you'll be able to take much more informed decision. Because the challenge with our bodies is it is not like machine that one size fits all. Or two of us may have sugar, two may has blood pressure, but the kind of diet or the kind of regime we need to follow may differ from one to other. And therefore these devices are really going to empower people. And now if these devices could be connected with some kind of a edge computing or some kind of a cloud at the back, this can also be connected to the respective physicians who can make timely interventions as and when needed, or as and other people who are taking care of them. And imagine if all of this is available on your mobile app, what a kind of empowerment we're talking. In a country where we have 700 million smartphone users in the country, and if you could provide this personalized health care for lifestyle diseases, non-communicable diseases to patients on their phone. How will it empower? And I'm sure once people are empowered, people they will find ways that how do they really take care of their condition and how do they really improve upon their health in general. Robots is another thing which we have started seeing in hospitals, though it still continues to be expensive, but it's something which has a huge potential of becoming mainstream. Soon we have also seen use of robots in surgeries. And one area where I feel is going to have a lot of usage is the companion robots, or which is very, very useful for people who are suffering with loneliness, or elderly people, and also people who have this chronic illness. These robots can not only act as companions, they can also monitor the vitals of the patient and also inform the guardians or the family members or the doctors who are taking care of this. So there is a lot of this. And in COVID time we have seen not medical robots, but a lot of places, where you had this, when you don't have house helps available, lot of robots people have bought for cleaning and house cleaning and all those purposes. So robots are becoming mainstream. We need to have more of those for medical care. And I'm sure once the demand increases, and particularly with government's intervention on Atmanirbhar Bharat and Made in India medical electronics focus, which has come up with the recently launched schemes. If we get these electronics developed or manufactured in India, we will be able to really cut down prices and bring them over the time with the kind of numbers we need. We can easily bring them down to affordable range. 3D printing, we've been seeing from artificial limbs to bio tissues are being printed using these tissues. Prosthetics, we have already started seeing in India also. There are some places where prosthetics is being printed using 3D printing. And if you could, skin with blood vessels, these bio tissues, if you could print, it will be a huge, huge boon for all those burn victims where you need to graft skin sometimes a number of times to really give that kind of so that could again be a huge changer for people who are suffering from those kinds of these things. And last but perhaps one of the most promising technologies is artificial intelligence. It is believed with artificial intelligence can truly redesign the paradigm of healthcare. It can today mine the electronic health records, anonymous records. It can design treatments. It can create drugs faster. And artificial intelligence in diagnosis basis imaging, we have already started seeing very good results, whether it is diagnosis of breast cancer or diabetic retinopathy. And we've also seen algorithms come which can help us detect COVID through the chest X-rays and all. And this artificial intelligence and with genome sequencing and quantum computing, I think we will be not really soon, in the near future, we'll be able to give personalized treatment to each individual depending on his genome sequence, depending on the kind of illness he has and the kind of history he has, medical history he has. And if we are able to provide personalized treatment to the patients at the point of care, to them at their place, that is what we all are looking for. Because with this, then we can reach to our public, which is in far-flung areas, into rural areas, and perhaps can. But for all these to happen, we really need a lot of cooperation, rather close working between the medical fraternity and the technology specialist. And I'm really glad to see that so many doctors, so many senior doctors are there on this panel and during all these 3 days. And I'm sure this will really help bringing all of us on the same page, and will perhaps facilitate us working together and together finding solutions to us to for to us help us achieve that ultimate mission of providing access to affordable and quality health care to every Indian in this country. Thank you. I'd like to thank you, Souvik, for inviting me here, and I wish this conference and great success and look forward to the deliberations and outcomes of this. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General NIC. And I'll come back to what ma'am has said, that the other parts, but as you said, the outcome. And yes, we'll be documenting the deliberations made in these 3 days, and we'll be documenting that, and we'll be sharing that event report with all the stakeholders who are present in this conclave, and also with the health departments across India, with the NIC departments, also with industry, so that the discussions made today, tomorrow, and day after, action can be taken. At least a roadmap, a blueprint can be taken. Some cue can be taken from this discussion. Thank you so much, Dr. Nidha Verma. As I've said, this is all about access to affordable healthcare and also the challenges related to healthcare and how technology and innovation can be leveraged more and more to address those challenges. And obviously, you talked about various aspects with your huge experience in this domain. And we all know that I remember the first health event of APEC News Network 3-4 months back. You were the inaugural speaker. You talked about the success of Arogya Setu app, how it has changed the entire thing, the entire spectrum. Kamal from Dell, he was also mentioning that the integrated command control center, how it actually changed the course of the game during the pandemic. So that is the power of technology, and that is the power of innovation. And we have to leverage innovation and technology more and more to change the ball game, if I may say so. And obviously, human touch will be important for healthcare. But again, as Kamal has said, and I was also saying that human touch will take touch, or human machine partnership in healthcare. And NNC is doing a brilliant job in that as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Nidha Verma,